Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate and a special interview with Sharad Pawar, speaking both as a cabinet minister and president of the ICC. Mr. Pawar, let's start with yourself. Earlier this month, you asked the Prime Minister to reduce your workload. Almost 3 weeks have passed, but that hasn't happened. So today, what sort of pressure are you under?
It's not a question of pressure, it's a question of, you see, I have requested Honorable Prime Minister that I got many portfolios. I'm looking after agriculture. Agriculture means not just agriculture. It is agriculture, cooperation, animal husbandry, dairy development and fishery. In fact, previously in Bajpayee's government, there were 2 ministers for that, or 3 ministers even. In food, there is not only food, but food and civil supply.
So is the workload too much?
And third is consumer affairs. It is a too much workload, and last 5 years I have managed, and not only managed, but we have substantially improved. But
now you need help.
No, I feel that because I got now, I'm also, as you forgotten to say, that I'm also party chief, and that's why I have certain responsibility of my party also. So my party.
Are you tired?
No, it's not a question of tired. It's a question of
overworked.
I want to little travel more in India, in the interior part of country. That will be helpful for me for agriculture also, and it will be helpful for me to keep my rapport with the masses.
I understand, but at the time when you asked the Prime Minister to reduce your workload, many newspapers said Sharad Pawar should actually step down from the cabinet altogether. Let me quote the Business Standard. They said, why should he keep his cabinet berth if he does not have the time and energy for it? Mr. Pawar should think of retiring from the government. What's your response?
I don't know, but this is an uncalled advice. Nobody has asked this advice. I'm in government. I think I will complete 25 years in different capacity. And my track record in about the performance and control of my ministry is well known. Those who doesn't know me well, they got every right to write whatever they feel. Beyond that, I don't give more
But
importance.
you want to stay in government?
No, I said that I want to reduce my job.
Let me put it like this. Are you hoping that the ministry you give up will be given to your daughter Supriya?
No, she is not interested. She is not interested to join in government at all at this juncture. And secondly, I'm not going to insist that ministry should be given to my party.
So it could go to anyone from any party?
It is Prime Minister's prerogative.
So this is not an attempt to find a ministership for Supriya or a promotion for Praful Patel?
We know what is the practice. Practice for the, in UPA, it depends on your total number of the parliament, how many portfolios you are eligible. And my party got according to our number, and that's why I have no right to ask additional portfolios.
So you accept the NCP has got a fair number of ministerships, you have no right to ask for more?
That's why I'm not asking that.
The Sunday Guardian has commented that in fact the ministership that you want to give up is Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, because you have reservations about the food security bill that the National Advisory Council is considering.
In fact, we have not received also what is the proposal of National Advisory Council. In fact, about the food security proposed bill, the President of India has described what will be the nature of the bill in the Parliament. It's not only President's decision, but a Cabinet has approved that decision. So Cabinet has expressed that view. I am representing Cabinet, so it's a collective responsibility. And secondly, we have group of ministers headed by Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. And that group of ministers has discussed this bill. So whatever the decision will be taken, it will be taken on group of ministers, and then it might go to the cabinet.
But what about the claim that Sharad Pawar has reservations about the bill?
I have no reservation because firstly, bill, I am supposed to prepare bill, not any outside body. And I have prepared a Kacha draft, which we discuss within ourselves, and we discuss in a group of ministers. We have come to some conclusion we are definitely waiting for some recommendations or suggestions from that national advisory body. But we have not received yet. So we haven't got anything on paper. So why should I make any resolution?
Will the version given to you by the National Advisory Council be binding on you, or is it simply a suggestion and a recommendation?
No, definitely it is recommendation. And when there are a number of experts are associated in that body, so their view will give a serious thought on that.
But it's not binding.
It's not binding.
In other words, you can reject what they recommend.
It depends, because I don't know what is the recommendation.
But you have the prerogative and the right to reject if you want.
Yeah, this cabinet got every right to prepare. Ultimately, we have to see what is our availability. Suppose you said that I should give at such and such quantity, but I have to see whether that quantity is available in with me today.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, the government will decide, Sharad Pawar will decide who is to be given the guarantee, how much is to be given as part of that guarantee. Those are your decisions.
Yeah, in fact, government has already decided, A, to give a guarantee, B, our first announcement, we have said something about the quantum also. Not only we have said that I have seen the Congress Party's manifesto, and in Congress Party's manifesto in last election, they have also described the number, figure, and we have followed that figure.
Quite right, 25 kilos per family at 3 rupees a kilo, but the NAC wants that revised upwards to 35 kilos and possibly at a different price. So at the end, you will decide whether it is feasible to change the figure, and if you think it's not, then the government will go by you.
Now basically, we'll decide, 35, I have no objection for 35 also, but which category? And at what rate?
So this is your decision.
This will be the cabinet decision. And secondly, about the rates, if ultimately finance ministry is in position to take substantial responsibility for subsidy, why should I oppose?
All right.
So, but it will be collective decision of the cabinet, not of Mr. Finance Minister or Sharad Pawar.
When will this decision be taken? It's an issue that's becoming controversial. How much more time do you need before you make up your mind?
I'll tell you frankly, we are waiting for what is this recommendation from the National Committee. After getting that recommendation, we'll discuss within ourselves in my ministry. Then I'll give with my view, I'll take my view, and I'll take that proposal before a group of ministers. Then I'll prefer to go to cabinet. And after getting clearance from cabinet, I'll prefer to make available for public for comments. And after getting comments from public, I'll give 3-4 months. Then we'll prepare a final draft, and then we'll go to Parliament. I'm confident that Parliament will definitely send that particular proposed bill to Standing Committee on Food, and after getting clearance from Standing Committee, it will come before Parliament for final view.
So this clearly sounds to me as if the final view taken by Parliament may not happen for at least another year.
At least 6 to 8 months.
At least 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Mr. Pawar, let's take a break. At that point, I want to come back and then talk to you as President of the ICC. We'll be back in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an interview with Sharad Pawar, speaking now as President of the ICC. Mr. Pawar, since March, both the BCCI and the IPL have been surrounded by controversy and scandal. How damaged are both institutions?
Firstly, I have to make one position absolutely clear. The office bearer of the ICC is not supposed to associate or make any comments on any member country. BCCI is a member country. I was the past president of the BCCI. But as per our constitution, ICC's constitution, I cannot take any responsibility in BCCI.
Absolutely.
And in that connection, it is improper for me to react on any decision of any organization. But ICC, BCCI has introduced a product which has been globally accepted. It has a great success. It's an unfortunate thing. There are serious controversy, there are some allegations, and board has deputed a committee to go in detail, and let us see what is the outcome of the detail.
But is the image of either BCCI or IPL damaged?
I don't think the IPL's overall position will damage, but definitely in the mind of cricket-loving population within India and even outside India, they started thinking differently. There seems to be some wrong thing happen, and that has definitely effect. But Mr. Manohar is trying level best to restore the image of the organization.
That I understand, but India is, for many people, the very center of the world of cricket. This is where you have most of the fans. This is where most of the commercial support comes from. So when there are major scandals about Indian cricket, I imagine the ICC must be rather concerned about that.
I don't think that we have not come to that conclusion. There are allegations. There is a difference between allegations and scandal. So one has to see how far these allegations are correct. And BCCI is going in detail. They will definitely come to conclusion. And after their decision, then we can say something about that.
Now, as you pointed out, the BCCI has appointed a disciplinary committee. They are looking into the allegations against Lalit Modi. Meanwhile, Lalit Modi himself has been suspended. But what about the rest of the governing council? Why have they been retained and not replaced?
It is a prerogative of the BCCI. I cannot say about that. This is their internal policy. They have to take decision on that. I cannot say about that.
That I fully understand. But in interviews to me, Tiger Pataudi has openly admitted that the governing council failed. He says, in fact, we were so dazzled by the success of the IPL, we forgot to ask questions. Why then are people who admit they have failed being retained?
The board has to decide and these people has to decide. I don't want to comment on that.
What about something else? And this perhaps goes back to a time when you were president of the BCCI yourself. The BCCI, it is said, is happily tolerating conflicts of interest. For instance, N. Srinivasan is secretary of the BCCI, but he also owns an IPL franchise team. Then Krish Shrikant is chairman of selectors, but he's brand ambassador for Chennai Super Kings. Why are these conflicts of interest being accepted?
Because this particular subject was discussed at length in the BCCI general body. And there, ultimately, the organization come to conclusion that this is a club level tournament, and it's a club level tournament. That's why the rules which are applicable to other major meets and rules applicable to club level tournament is altogether different, and that's why they pass a resolution, and the BCCI has authorized office bearer that they can set up, they can own the team, they can set up the team. That was a collective unanimous decision.
That I understand, that the BCCI passed a resolution authorizing people like Mr. Srinivasan to own a team. But just because you pass a resolution doesn't mean that the underlying conflict of interest has disappeared. It remains there. You just made it legitimate. Surely that was the wrong thing to do.
No, but when ultimately the body of general body, not only executive or anybody, unanimously take some decision, that decision is a policy, and that policy has been policy was adopted by concerned body.
Now, with hindsight, given that this has attracted a lot of concern and criticism, with hindsight, should that resolution be revisited and perhaps scrapped?
No, that is a prerogative of the BCCI. I cannot comment on that because that is an internal decision.
Except that you were president at the time, so do you think that this is a decision that should be revised?
No, I cannot say now because I'm wearing different hat now.
Okay. One last question on this issue. As president of ICC, you are also concerned about the health of the various cricket bodies in various countries. Today, people say that the BCCI itself, for 3 years, allowed the IPL scandal to develop under its nose. And when questioned, they say they had no idea what was happening. Shouldn't the top management of the BCCI be made accountable?
No, I said that BCCI top management has gone in depth. They have started So, and let us see what is the outcome. Unless and until outcome is there, one should not just comment.
That I understand. But at the end, will the ICC, to its satisfaction, check that steps have been taken to clean up the mess?
No, ICC will not interfere in their domestic tournaments.
So if in the end BCCI doesn't take sufficient action and people aren't held accountable, ICC won't interfere?
No, the BCCI has already started process of action.
Yes, but we don't know whether it will be a satisfactory process. It might be a whitewash. And what I'm asking is, if it is a whitewash, if it is not satisfactory, will you then interfere?
ICC has no authority to interfere in any countries, any organization, as per our constitution.
So you cannot interfere full stop?
That's right.
Even if BCCI doesn't carry out a satisfactory cleanup?
No, I'm not feeling that. I know what I know about the organization. BCCI themselves will take appropriate decision to improve their own functioning, their performance, and their image.
One last set of questions about yourself. As you know, for 2 months there has been speculation in the press that either you or members of your family own stakes in bids for IPL franchises. It created quite a controversy. Has this damaged your image and standing?
No, that is just publicity campaign just to malign me. Beyond that, nothing.
But has it succeeded?
Simple thing. If suppose if I would have been interested, as per BCCI rule, there are no objection. As you rightly mentioned about this, one of the office bearers, he owned the team, so it was not difficult for me also to own. And secondly, I think I have that sort of prestige in that organization, where if I am interested, others should not come forward.
But has this controversy damaged your reputation and image?
No, because people don't know what is the fact. And that's why sometimes it's happening. If the major newspapers started writing, giving the headlines with photographs, people do feel, what is this?
A second issue that's come up is people say that you're very close to Lalit Modi. Some people even suggest that you're secretly supporting him. Are you?
No, you see, definitely all of us were together. Whether myself, Shashank Manohar, Lalit Modi, all of us were elected unanimously. It was one group. We have worked together. Everybody has contributed something. But now the present setup feel something has gone wrong. And that's why unless and until that is established and the picture comes before all of us, it is not proper for me to support A or oppose A.
So you are not supporting Lalit
No,
Modi?
basically I am keeping away from this.
But do you think he's being treated fairly, or is he being treated unfairly?
I can't say about that. I can't say, but I know everybody has contributed, and if suppose there is a mistake, then he has to face the music.
If there is a mistake, he has to face the music.
Anybody.
You won't at that stage step in to protect
No
him?
question of protecting anybody, not only Mr. Modi, but anybody. But if anybody has contributed, one has to accept also his contribution.
You have to also accept his contribution. So you do believe that Lalit Modi has made a big contribution?
Well, you see, that I feel that product which has been brought to success to this country, which has established that India can organize such thing, and there he has taken a lot of pain, there are no two opinions, but style of functioning has become controversial, and their present board do feel that we should go in depth. And I know Mr. Manohar. Manohar is an honest, very straightforward person, honest administrator, and if he feels he will go in depth, and he himself said, if something goes wrong there, we'll take stern view, and if it is not, our information is not correct, then we'll happily admit also it was wrong from our side.
So Lalit Modi will be given a fair trial?
I'm confident that it has to be given a fair trial.
Will you try and ensure that it is fair and that he's not simply sacrificed?
No, I will not interfere either way from this, because I cannot interfere now.
Sharad Pawar, a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.